Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Combat Ready HQ. Welcome to today's video where we will be looking at where the US is testing a powerful $500 million railgun, $500 million. I've got my cup of coffee, so today we've got our very own branded Combat Ready HQ, Combat Ready Blends coffee, which will be up for sale soon, along with a few other blends, a few teas and hot chocolates, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you check out the original video in the description. As always, give them a like, give them a follow, and if you could like, subscribe to our channel, it really helps push us and I appreciate all the support. Remember to comment with your thoughts, what you want to see in the future, but looking forward to this. Always like looking at new sort of weapon systems that are being tested and developed, so let's see what the US are doing with this and we'll get into it.
Hello and welcome back to the Fluctus channel. Few weapons in the world are as impressive and as potentially devastating as railguns. A railgun is a device that uses electromagnetic force to fire projectiles at high speeds. The projectile doesn't have any explosives in it. Instead, it relies on high speed and momentum to do damage.
Maximum velocity.
The destructive power of these projectiles depends on how fast they are moving and how heavy they are. Because a railgun projectile can move quickly, its destructive force is greater than a similar-sized traditional gun projectile.
Just flying through the air.
The U.S. Navy Dahlgren Division frequently demonstrated an 8 megajoule railgun, shooting 7.1-pound projectiles as a prototype of a 64 megajoule weapon that was intended for warships.
Hit him with such force.
Later, the energy for firing the railgun was pushed up even further. On January 31, 2008, the U.S. Navy tested a railgun that shot a projectile at a speed of 8,270 feet per second and
8,270 feet per second. That's insane. Trying to think. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. What, rifles, what, 600 meters per second? Oh my God. Just ridiculous.
10.64 megajoules. Railguns have fired projectiles up to ranges of 100 miles.
Oh my God. Right, so that is absolutely ridiculous. A railgun can fire around up to 100 miles. Hopefully we'll find out the accuracy of this in a minute. But just to think, an artillery piece, I think 105, accuracy off the top of my head is about 15 miles, I think, off the top of my head, if I remember rightly. AS-90 could push out to 22, 23. A GMRS we're firing when I was in, just out to around 90 to 100k accurately, so that's 100 kilometers. So you're talking about 60 miles. They were pushing the GMRS, the Guided Multiple Rocket Launch System. This 100 miles, just think about that. It's insane.
Care is taken to fire the railgun out to the ocean to prevent possible damage to infrastructure or loss of life.
It'd been literally middle of nowhere.
Unfortunately, railgun development has been halted by the United States for now in favor of projects such as longer-range missiles and even laser weapons.
Yeah, laser's a big thing. The UK have just tested theirs. Check that out. I've done a video on that.
In 2020, a Navy ship used its laser weapon system to shoot down a flying drone nearby.
It's mental they're doing that with actual lasers now.
This is part of the Navy's plan to deal with air threats at sea.
Apparently a lot cheaper.
The Navy said in a news release that the amphibious transport dock ship Portland successfully disabled an unmanned aerial vehicle while it was in the air during a test at sea on May 16.
Amazing the technology we have nowadays. Think back to World War II and how far they've come in 70 years.
The laser on the
80
Portland
years.
can be used to target not only drones, but also small boats. Time will tell exactly how big the solid-state laser will become and how effective it will be.
Looks pretty effective for now, but I don't know how long it's taken to heat up to do this.
For now, we can still rely on weapons like the Tomahawk cruise missile.
Oh, look at that. Off
The
it
Tomahawk
goes.
land attack missile is a long-range, all-weather, jet-powered subsonic cruise missile that is mostly
Subsonic.
used by the U.S. Navy and the Royal Navy to attack land from ships and submarines. There are at least 7 variants of this tried and tested missile.
Yeah, it works
The
really
missile
well.
then utilizes what is called TERCOM, or terrain contour matching, to find its way to the target. The route data is loaded onto the missile before it is launched. The Tomahawk then simply follows the terrain forms it is supposed to reach its target.
Nice. Oof, look at them, look at that.
Tomahawks can fly up to ranges of 1,000 miles or more,
I
depending.
actually didn't know that. 1,000 miles a Tomahawk can go. That's ridiculous. That's well beyond what? From the south of the UK to the north. That's impressive.
on the variant.
Very nice. I actually didn't know that.
Unlike railguns and lasers, missiles have to be reloaded.
Yes. That's why they reckon it's about £10, just over $10 to fire a laser each shot.
The process of loading missiles onto U.S. Navy ships has to be completed manually. That is, at the docks. Reloading at sea is a much more dangerous undertaking because of the weight of some missiles and the rolling motion of ships underway.
Yeah. Don't want to mess that one up, do you?
The vertical launch system and personnel could be damaged or injured.
Beast.
Missiles like the Standard missile weigh in excess of 1,000 pounds.
No way. £1,000.
In the past,
410
U.S. Navy
kilos.
ships were armed with cranes, but these were removed due to the dangers of rearming at sea.
Really?
With possible hostilities with Russia and China looming, rearming at sea seems more likely.
Yeah, it's what you want to do. Don't have to come all the way back to land.
U.S. Navy torpedoes are another offensive weapon enemy ships have to contend with. Surface
Torpedo in
vessels
the
are
water.
commonly armed with Torpex torpedoes that are 50% more deadly than TNT. Torpex is an acronym for torpedo explosives. Surface vessels are armed with the Mark 54 torpedo. The Mark 54 can destroy submarines at a range of 10,000 yards.
Nice. Was it 3
For
yards
land
to a
attacks,
metre?
the U.S. Navy can rely on the Naval Strike Missile.
It's amazing what Navy ships have nowadays, like part of the US and the Royal Navy. The technology they
This
have.
new Norwegian missile is used against ships and land targets.
Nice.
It has a range of up to 345 miles, depending on its attack profile. Another innovative way to attack land targets is to use the HIMARS system from ships.
Okay, yeah.
The M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System is a light multiple rocket launcher made for the U.S. Army in the late 1990s.
Basically, this is the American version of the British MRS, multiple rocket launch system, which we now call the GMRS because they're now guided.
It is mounted on a standard U.S. Army M1140 truck frame. The M142 has one pod that can hold either 6 GMLRS rockets, 2 PRSM missiles, or 1 ATACMS missile.
Yeah, so they have the same ones.
It can fire all of the weapons in the Multiple Launch Rocket System family, or MFOM.
Remember rightly, they're about $60,000 to $110,000 a shot.
The system gives the U.S. greater land attack versatility. The defense setup of U.S. Navy ships and aircraft carriers is carried out in successive layers.
Look at that. Look at that for a fleet. Oh.
The final defense consists of the Phalanx Sea Whiz. The Phalanx uses radar to target enemy missiles with a 6-barrel, 20mm Gatling cannon that fires 3,000 to 4,500 rounds per minute over ranges of 1 to 5 miles.
1 to 5 miles, nice, really.
The range is comparatively short for modern anti-ship missiles, but the system is fast and accurate.
Yeah, look at that moving.
Another level of defense that aircraft carriers have is the aircraft they carry.
Yeah.
As soon as enemy weapons target them, they scramble F-18s or F-35s and attack the enemy facilities or ships.
You gotta have some balls, haven't you, to fly on and off a ship. Look.
These aircraft are armed by ordnance men, distinctive in their red outfits. Ordnance men use various tools and vehicles to help them attach heavy weapons to aircraft like F-18s or F-35s. FA-18s are being replaced by F-35 Lightning, but they still have a role to play. As navies worldwide keep aiming to improve the weapon systems of their battleships and aircraft, these weapons are becoming deadlier by the day.
Look at that. I think they sound amazing.
And with such frightful improvements, the casual onlooker can only wish that these weapons would never truly be used for their intended purpose.
Yeah, the way the world's going though, nowadays it's looking very likely that they could.
That's the end of this video. I hope.
Yeah, make sure you go and check out the original video, give him a like and subscribe. Always interested in finding out about new technologies, new weapon systems and what other services actually use. Obviously being ex-British Army, you know sort of roughly what's out there, what people are using, but you don't obviously actually use them. I did try to go to 148 Battery 29 Commandant, but my regiment wouldn't release me, and they deal with naval gunfire. They're the only unit within the British Army that train and work with naval gunfire. So it's always very interesting. Railgun, it's been known to shoot up to 100 miles, is just absolutely ridiculous. And the power behind it, you saw it going through those armoured plates, the force behind those railguns, really impressive to watch. I actually found it really interesting, and I hope you did too. And then to find out about the other systems as well, like the Tomahawk up to 1,000 miles, and then everything else that sort of US Navy ship or destroyer, sort of depending on what the ship is, could have on it, is very impressive. And I think it'd be very tricky to go up against the US Navy and the Royal Navy, but especially the US Navy, just from the amount of ships they have and the technology and the weapon systems they have on board these. It would be very hard for someone to sort of take out the US Navy, in my personal opinion. But let us know what your thoughts are on that, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications bell on, comment below with what you thought and what you want to see next, and I'll see you soon.